This evening, first on the list is a heart-wrenching story from Berbice, where a laborer lost his life in an alleged murder. Police are actively seeking a male suspect from number 51 village. Shifting gears, we turn our attention to the promising gas-to-shore pipeline project. The pipeline remains on track for completion by the end of 2024. Once completed, the project is anticipated to significantly reduce electricity costs. In judiciary matters, 9 new magistrates were sworn into office. Prime Minister Phillips emphasized the importance of fairness, efficiency, and effectiveness in their duties, acknowledging public concerns about the slow legal system. In a development on law enforcement, escapee Keon Webster, who had fled police custody, was successfully recaptured today. The search for the other escapee, Kareem Douglas, remains active. On the international front, we covered the dissolution of Guinea's government by the junta over corruption allegations. The move follows allegations of ministers mishandling public funds and living lavishly while much of the population lives in poverty. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for February 21st, 2024. I am Vivi Backus. Thank you for joining us. First up, authorities are currently investigating a tragic incident of alleged murder in number 53 village quarantine Berbice, where a 31-year-old male laborer, Colleen Tony, lost his life. The incident reportedly occurred around 11:30 last evening. According to reports, police are actively seeking a 24-year-old male suspect from number 51 village quarantine Berbice in connection with the crime. An eyewitness recounted that around 11 p.m., while vending on the street corner along with others, she observed an argument between Tony and the suspect regarding a phone. The altercation escalated, leading to a brawl between the two individuals. Subsequently, the suspect departed the scene on a motorcycle, leaving Tony severely injured and bleeding profusely on the ground. He was taken to the Skeldon Public Hospital for medical attention. Unfortunately, despite efforts to save his life, he succumbed to his injuries. In the wake of the incident, authorities have conducted interviews with several individuals, gathering valuable information. As investigations continue, law enforcement officials are actively searching for the suspect. Further updates on the investigation will be provided as they become available. In other news, the gas-to-shore pipeline project, aimed at transporting natural gas from the Stabroek Block offshore Guyana to Wales on the west bank of the Marara, leading to a significant reduction in electricity costs, remains on track for its scheduled completion by the end of 2024. Winston Brassington, head of the Gas-to-Shore Task Force, provided this update during the Ghana Energy Conference and Supply Chain Expo. The pipeline, a critical aspect of the project, is progressing on schedule and budget, funded by ExxonMobil Guyana at approximately $1 billion. While the onshore portion of the pipeline is 40% complete and the offshore portion is about 55% complete, some delays have been encountered while constructing the natural gas liquid plant in Wales. Despite these setbacks, efforts are being made to mitigate delays, with the natural gas liquid facility projected to be online by April of the following year. Upon completion, the project is expected to reduce the electricity cost significantly. Moving on, 9 new magistrates were sworn into office in a ceremony attended by Prime Minister Brigadier Retired Mark Phillips, Chief Justice Roxanne George, and others. The magistrates are tasked with addressing the backlogs of cases at the magistrate level. Prime Minister Phillips emphasized the importance of fairness, efficiency, and effectiveness in their duties, urging them to prioritize objectivity and neutrality. Prime Minister Phillips acknowledged public complaints about the slow legal system and expressed hope that the new magistrates would contribute to expediting these resolutions.
While I recognize that the system is burdened with a heavy caseload, I also recognize the truism in the old adage that all of us are accustomed to hearing now: justice delayed is justice denied. I sincerely hope that this addition of 9 newly minted temporary magistrates to the complement of our magistracy will bring greater speed to the conclusion of the cases before our legal system.
Prime Minister Phillips acknowledged public complaints about the slow legal system and expressed hope that the new magistrates would contribute to expediting case resolutions. The government is also supporting the judiciary by constructing or renewing 8 magistrates' courts and implementing an e-filing system to enhance efficiency. Stick around when we return. Police apprehended Keon Webster at Sabrok Market after escaping from custody, and 3 construction workers remanded, charged for breaking into a larceny.
Come celebrate 1770 with us. It's our birthday. Yeah, celebrate 1770 with us. Yeah. It's our 17th anniversary, and we're celebrating in style by giving away $17 million in 17 days. Top up with $1,000 or more for a chance to be one of 17 lucky winners of $1 million. Don't miss your chance. Top up today. Digicel, 17 years of bringing you the best. Come celebrate 1770 with us. It's our birthday.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Speak clearly with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Common smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Middle Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Welcome back. Keon Webster, the 31-year-old who managed to escape from police custody while being transported to Lusignan prison on the east coast of Demerara yesterday, was successfully recaptured today. According to a police report, a member of the Brigham police station apprehended Webster around noon today at the Sabrok Market Bazaar located on Water Street in Georgetown. Webster is currently in police custody. However, law enforcement authorities are still actively searching for the other prison escapee, Corinne Douglas. In other news, 3 construction workers were remanded to jail for breaking into and larceny when they appeared at the Diamond Magistrates Court on Tuesday, February 21st. 23-year-old Carlton Moses of Friendship Squatting Area, 18-year-old Yashua Angoy of 2nd Street, Caneville, and 36-year-old Michael Van Der Scoop of Grove Housing Scheme, all of East Bank, Demerara, appeared before Magistrate Judy Latchman, where they pleaded not guilty to breaking into and larceny. The trio was arrested on February 16 for allegedly breaking into the dwelling house of Vidnarain Singh. Bail was denied, and the 3 construction workers were remanded to prison until the matter resumes on March 13, 2024. Clifton Graham, a 34-year-old unemployed man of Barefoot, East Coast, Demerara, was remanded to prison for sexual assault of a minor when he appeared at the Sparendam Magistrates Court 2 earlier today. Graham appeared before Magistrate George, where the charge was read to him. He was not required to plea and was remanded to prison. The matter was adjourned to March 22, 2024. Don't go away after the break. Polish farmers protest over grain prices, block border with Ukraine, and Guinea's military junta dissolves government, traces account of ministers.
Come celebrate 1770 with us. It's our 17th anniversary and we are celebrating with up to 40% discount on handsets. Get the Samsung A05 for just $16,000 or go for the Samsung A15 for just $29,000 or the Samsung A245 for just $35,000. But wait, there's more. You also get 1 month free data plan with any handset purchase. Limited time offer. Hurry to a Digicel store today. 17 years of bringing you the best. 1770 with us.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Common smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Mill Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. Colombia's historic peace deal with FARC promised to end decades of civil war. Still, territories the government has failed to control has seen renewed violence, killing over 400 former rebel fighters and about 1,100 community leaders since 2016.
An act of collective mourning amid an endless trail of death. Hundreds gathered in downtown Bogota to demand the government do more to protect those who were left behind by a peace deal signed nearly a decade ago. More than 400 former rebel fighters and 1,100 community leaders have been killed since the Colombian state and the country's largest guerrilla group, FARC, agreed to stop their war in 2016. The victims are mostly Afro-Colombians and indigenous people caught up in or targeted by fighting that continues in territories the government has failed to control. The historic peace deal promised to end decades of civil conflict, but after a brief increase in security, many rural areas instead saw renewed violence. Armed factions and drug mafias fight to control trafficking routes and illegal mining resources.
The time has come to demand results to the Attorney General office in these killings. We can't keep being silent witnesses for this slow genocide of those who laid down their arms.
Each of these boxes represents a coffin.
We are here to participate in what needs to be a nationwide mourning because each of these deaths is painful. For how much longer will we keep adding to the list of widows and orphaned kids?
Colombia has a broad range of policies and laws in place to prevent these killings, but enforcement has been poor and impunity high. Leftist President Gustavo Petro, who took office a year and a half ago, made peace a priority, initiating talks with all remaining armed groups, so far with limited results. The former top commander of the FARC doesn't blame the government, but what he says are powerful forces opposed to peace.
There is an important sector of Colombia that doesn't want to lose its privileges that impede peace to progress. Because peace requires redistributing wealth and ending illegal business, that's what makes it so difficult. But we remain optimistic and hope that with acts like this one, we will be able to move forward.
Reaching a stable peace in Colombia remains an unfulfilled promise, as successive governments have vowed to end this ever-changing internal conflict, but have struggled to achieve it. Alessandro Ampietti, Al Jazeera, Bogotá.
Internationally, Polish farmers block borders and demand talks with leaders over low grain prices and unfair competition from Ukraine. Frustration continues to grow as farmers protest in over 180 locations, using their tractors and trucks to disrupt traffic and dump grains from Ukraine, leaving it to spoil. Al Jazeera's Charlie Angelo reports.
Blocking the border with Ukraine, Polish farmers' frustration over grain prices has reached new heights. Using their tractors and trucks to protest in 180 locations and disrupt traffic throughout the country in an attempt to grab their leaders' attention.
We are protesting this situation and asking Mr. Tusk to come and talk to us farmers, for Mrs. Ursula von der Leyen to understand the difficult situation here in Poland. Farmers all over Europe understand this difficult situation because this is coming to them too. Rotten grain enters through this solidarity corridor. Let them come to their senses before it is too late.
At Maduka border crossing, their anger spilled over onto the tracks as they dumped grain, leaving Ukraine by train to Germany and left it to spoil. In 2022, when the war began, the EU waived duties on Ukrainian food exports to help the war effort. Farmers say this unfair competition is now crushing their business. On the social media platform X, Ukraine's Minister for Infrastructure called their protests political provocation aimed at dividing Ukraine and Poland. He reminded people Ukraine's grain is being harvested under rocket attacks and its export is a matter of survival. The EU has already seen sustained protest from European farmers. They've offered them subsidies, but Polish farmers want Ukrainian imports banned and new EU restrictions on the use of fertilizers and pesticides scrapped. Poland's Prime Minister Donald Tusk, who calls himself the most pro-Ukrainian of leaders, has remained quiet on the protests. With 77% of Poles backing the farmers' demands, Tusk can't risk antagonizing voters when he has such a slim majority. But failure to act now could have significant consequences for long-term Polish-Ukrainian relations. Charlie Angela, Al Jazeera.
Finally, Guinea is drawn to dissolve the government over corruption, seizing assets, freezing accounts, and raising $7 billion from donors. The move comes after allegations of corruption were made public, with ministers suspected of mishandling public funds and living in lavish lifestyles, while the majority of the population lives in poverty.
On national television, Guinea's military junta announcing the dissolution of the government it appointed. The junta is freezing the accounts of all ministers, seizing their travel documents and stripping them of their vehicles, bodyguards and assistants.
For an outsider, it's worrying. But for a Guinean, it was expected.
Guinea's businessman Alpha Diallo in neighboring Senegal welcomes the decision.
You do have some ministers who, I'm sorry to say, but a year ago, 2 years ago, they were living in a rented house, or in a rented one-bedroom, and then now they're living in a $1 million house. So how do you justify that? In a country where 60% of the population, doesn't make $2 or $3 a day.
Last week, Guinea's justice minister called for an audit of government expenses, suspecting ministers of mishandling public funds. Allegations of corruption were published online shortly after mobile internet was either limited in some places or cut off in others, with no apparent reason given. The government spokesperson says access to the internet is not a right. This is badly affecting people, says Umu, who uses her phone to sell fashionable bags and talk to her family.
My internet does not work. There is no connection.
In the normally bustling markets of the capital, vendors struggle to find customers. Prices of basic necessities have increased, so has the cost of fuel. Anger is brewing against the junta's management of the country.
No work, no money. No one is buying and we can't get rid of our stock. Some of it goes to waste. We are suffering from power cuts and can't stock anything. But the worst is that we are not selling our goods.
The decision to sack the government comes after Guinea's junta raised $7 billion from donors at a conference in Dubai.
I'm hoping this is an opportunity.
For Jallo, people in this mineral-rich country with enormous untapped resources should not be living in poverty or profit going into the hands of politicians. Like most Guineans, he hopes for a new government that can fulfill the West African nation's potential. Nicholas Hawke, Al Jazeera.
This brings us to the end of the regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3-day weather forecast. And that's Save TV2 headline news for this Wednesday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You can tune in tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. for a rebroadcast and at 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other.